Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Farming Simulator 2025. A lot of people ask me, so solid fertilizer, how do I load it and unload it? And we're going to go through that step by step in this video, so fertilizing your farm becomes an easy task. Every field will need fertilizer at some stage of the game in Farming Simulator 2025. But how do you apply it to your fields? How do you load it into your fertilizer spreader? Well, this is going to deal with solid fertilizer. And for that, first thing you're going to have to do is get yourself over to the shop where you can either hire or purchase some equipment. Getting to the shop can be as simple as pressing the P key, and then once you're there, you can select from the fertilizer spreaders in the fertilizer spreaders section. Now, this might seem like pretty straightforward, but different spreaders will do different things. I tend to go with the Bredel because it will not only put down fertilizer, but also lime, so it's a multi-purpose tool. Some of the other selections that you have here will only do fertilizer. Now, as this video is all about fertilizer, we're going to concentrate on getting this filled up with fertilizer, but I like that little bit of flexibility, so I'm going to be going with the Bredel K105 for 45,000 euros/pounds, whatever it's going to be. So like I mentioned, we're going to select the Bredel spreader because it can do fertilizer and lime. We've got that added flexibility, and here it is in all its glory in the shop warehouse. Now you can put extensions on there so that you can hold a little bit more or even a lot more lime or fertilizer in the back of this spreader. That's completely up to you, and depending on what sort of farm you're running and what sort of fields you intend to fertilize or spread lime with. So that's the extensions. You can also change the wheel brands as well should you want to, and also then you can also look at the spreader system. The standard discs are more than suitable, though if you've got a huge field to do, then you can have a massive 6-meter spreading unit set of discs attached to the back of your Bredel spreader. It all depends really what field you want to apply lime or fertilizer to. Hitting the buy button lets you buy it. Hitting the lease, you can lease it for a monthly fee. So once you've got that, then you now have to move on to consumables and buy some solid fertilizer or lime, depending on what you're doing. You can see solid fertilizer is there coming in at 1,920 euros/pounds. This is not for liquid fertilizer. This spreader is strictly for solid fertilizer to spread. Now the fertilizer, as does the lime, comes in 1,000-litre pallets, as you can see on the screen here. You can bump up the amount you want to buy on the left-hand side. 4 obviously will get you 4,000 litres. 3 pallets will obviously get you 3,000 litres. Once you've got your fertilizer, or if you're buying lime, you can purchase this and it appears as if by magic in the parking lot. Once you're through here, back into the parking lot, and now it's time for the fun stuff of Farming Simulator 2025, where you have to hitch your tractor to your spreader and then load your fertilizer. This couldn't be easier. Be aware as well, you've got several different camera views. I prefer the third person one sometimes, but you can change that view to make things a little bit easier if you just get into the hang of getting proficient in hitching up your equipment. Here we are, we're going to back in, and as soon as we're ready and we're just lined up with our Bredel spreader, we will get a prompt at the bottom of the screen to press the Q key, which will allow us then to attach our tractor to our piece of equipment, in this case our Bredel spreader. Once we've got that then, and it's quite simple, by pressing the F1 key you can then bring up the in-game menu. That will give you somewhat of a helping hand if you can't remember all the key presses if you're new to game. You can see I've got my solid fertilizer right next to where my spreader is. By lining yourself up there, as I've done, you can then turn around and say OK, load, and you can press the button to load. Now you can load or refill your spreader by pressing the R key, and you can see those pallets then vanish and you can see it fill up in the hopper of your spreader. So that is loading your fertilizer. Same process for lime as well, to be perfectly honest. Now, as we've got a multi-purpose solution here with our Bredel spreader, we may want to then decanter all that lovely fertilizer once we've finished with it. And what shall we do? Well, straight up, you then find a suitable space where you want to put your fertilizer, and then you press the unload button, which is the I key. And then what will happen there is that you're then free to load your multi-purpose spreader up with, say, lime. And then when you finish the lime, you can then reload it up with fertilizer. Perfectly up with you. It's as simple as that. I key to unload, R key to refill. And that, everybody, is how you load and unload solid fertilizer into a device like a Bredl spreader in Farming Simulator 2025. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you on the farm.